Today, I want to tell you a story, and it's not really a funny story or a silly story. Today's story is a tragedy about how what could have been such a great banger math meme was unfortunately ruined. And it all starts with, this is a story of losers, but it starts with a big winner. Some YouTuber named Justice Shepherd. And in fall of 2022, he posted one of the most viral math shorts I've ever seen. Over 30 million views. For math, 30 million views, that's a pretty big deal. And it inspired me sometime later to come up with a meme sort of riffing on it. And I posted it to YouTube, but I totally bungled it because I ruined it. It could have been funnier than it was, but I bungled it. And then later, I shared this meme to Reddit, and I kind of fixed it. And then Reddit wanted to ruin it too. So let me walk you through this dramatic series of events and how I feel like I really missed one of the greatest opportunities of all time for a funny math short. So again, it starts with Justice Shepherd. In 2022, he posted a short, which I won't show in its entirety, but you'll probably recognize it because so many people saw it, and I'll play it, kind of here. The idea of this short was, it was a super handy trick for remembering how to graph stuff. You see, he came up with this crazy trick to remember like what a line looks like, for example. And so it was connected to the word line, and it had to do with the spelling of the word line, because the first letter, there's kind of an interesting connection there between the first letter, line, and what a line actually is. You see, they're both lines, right? So in the video, he's like, oh look, it's L, it's a line. That helps me remember what a line is. Some of the comments on that video were pretty funny. Yeah, no surprise, especially given how popular this video was. A lot of the comments on it are making fun of it. This one, my favorite ones. Bro has a trick to remember line. Imagine needing a trick to remember how to draw a line. That's crazy. But yeah, a lot of the comments are saying it would be easier if you just learned like how to draw a quadratic, for example. Not to mention that when is the math exercise draw the general shape of a quadratic? And it's like, oh, the general shape of a quadratic, the quadratic, that's got U in it, right? So it looks like that. It looks like a U. Ain't nobody ever did no math exercise like that. It's graph x squared plus 1 equals 0. So I don't know how helpful this video really was, but it certainly resonated with people. So perhaps it was useful for some folks. And I'm not sitting here trying to crap on this video. I think it's pretty funny, whether you think it's helpful or not. But I would be lying if I said that I didn't think this short absolutely begged for mockery because of how silly it was to have this ridiculous trick. And what's the premise of the trick? That if you pick some random letter from the name of a mathematical function, that you're going to receive the instructions imbued in that letter on how to draw the function. We could totally understand the Riemann zeta function because the second letter of the second word is an E, and so it looks like that. What's the concept here of this trick? So very easy to mock, perhaps even an easy lazy target for me to have used to inspire a short. But anyways, use it I did, and so I made what I thought was a very funny short mocking this viral clip or short from Justice Shepherd. I'll play that for you here. Wow! That makes sense. Let me try. So, kind of funny. I took that idea that was obviously flawed in the original short, of that you can just pick anything from a word and that tells you how to draw the thing, and riffed on it. So that's funny. However, I totally ruined the short with that little bit of like meta commentary at the beginning. I started the short off with me having just watched the Justice Shepherd short. The idea there at the time was I wanted anybody who watches this to have the context that I'm riffing on something. And it's just really surprising that I would do that, because one of my #1 rules for humor and things that I find funny are to not explain the joke. The joke is going to hit its target audience, and anybody who needs the joke explained either isn't the target audience, or maybe they could be one day they could be the target audience when they grow up. But you know, you're not going to suddenly reach them by trying to include an explanation in the joke. So the fact that I included that dumb clip of me reacting to the original short, not only did it make it longer, but it in my opinion, totally ruined my silly joke, because the point is that you're supposed to be in the know. You see my riffing on the short, and you think, oh, that's hilarious, because I saw that short too and thought it was stupid, and this guy's making fun of it. That's funny. Of course you saw the guy's short too. Everybody saw this short in fall of 2022. How could you avoid it? It wasn't possible. This was like oxygen. If you ever consume mathematical content or are an unwilling subject of mathematics educators, as many are in school, you were seeing the Justice Shepherd short. There's just no way around it. So to have to include that little reaction at the beginning totally ruined it, and I don't think my short did particularly well. Sometime later, we're talking years later, like it might have even been earlier this year, I think it was, it occurred to me that I had never posted that meme, that riffing on the Justice Shepherd short. I'd never posted it to r/mathmemes. And I do occasionally swing by r/mathmemes, believe it or not. I thought, oh, you know, I'll post this. I try not to post r/mathmemes too much. You know, since I'm doing stuff on YouTube, I never want to cross into the realm of self-promotion. So I just swing by occasionally. Usually I'll post something to mathmemes if it's like from an upcoming video. So I'll just post it there before it could even be considered, you know, trying to promote a video, because it's not even from a video yet. But I went over there and I decided I was going to post that meme I had made. But I realized at the time that I needed to get rid of that stupid reaction part at the beginning. So I removed my dumb reaction and just included the riffing on the original Justice Shepherd short. And I mean, it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. What does a line look like? Well, linear, that ends in ear. So I'm pretty sure that looks like an ear. And then logarithm, well, you know, I already showed you this. And overall, the mathmemes community seemed to agree with me that it was pretty funny. Got over 2,000 upvotes, pretty popular, 46 comments. So that's not bad for a little math meme posted to the quaint math meme subreddit. But there was one big elephant in the room here, which is that if you see my riffing on this short, I don't actually do anything with the sine function at the end. I just do the first 3 functions and then the clip ends. And I'll tell you, you're crazy if you think that I did not think that through very thoroughly. When I originally made this years ago, I thought it through very thoroughly. I wouldn't be surprised if it kept me up for multiple nights. The thinking was this, and I think the issue is, as we'll get into some of these Reddit replies that are addressing this problem, People don't conceive of this joke exactly the same way I did. And maybe that's because I'm wrong. Maybe it's just different senses of humor. But perhaps it's a mathematical perspective that makes me want to view a lot of funny things with some lens of objectivity. So let me walk you through the thought process here. The joke needs to escalate. If the joke is gonna go on, it's gotta get more ridiculous. Now, the original Justice Shepherd clip is already kind of ridiculous because you're just circling letters in words as if there's any reason to think they explain them, right? It's just saying, here's a series of coincidences. That's your math trick, you know, hope you like it. And so if I'm going to carry on a joke further and further, it needs to get more silly, more ridiculous each step. Right at the start, it's unexpected because we say that a line looks like an ear because it has the word ear in the word linear. And then, you know, maybe before you've gotten over how kind of funny that is, we get to the next one, the quadratic. It's like, oh, we're not just doing anatomy, now we're into zoology, quadratics. I know those. Those are those functions that look like rats, right? Quadratics, because it has the word rat in it. Okay, this is pretty funny. You know, I've given you the 1-2 combo. And number 3, This is where the joke has to end, because this is the one that's the most ridiculous. Logarithm. Now, if I was lazy, if I wasn't funny, I think this is pretty funny. If I wasn't funny, I would have just underlined log, or perhaps, and I would have drawn a log. Or maybe I would have circled the O, and I would have drawn a circle. Oh, that would have been very funny. Yeah, I didn't do that. I tried to pick something more unexpected, because at this point, you've already seen 2 reps of the same joke. Circle something and draw it, and pretend that's the math function. You've already seen it twice, so it's got to be a little bit more unexpected here. And so I go for Gary, and I draw the snail. I think it's a pretty perfect joke. 1, 2, 3, done, moving on. Pretty funny. So that's why I stopped it there. People thought that was a little strange. Why'd you stop there? I just explained it to you. But there's nothing. What are you going to do with the fourth function here? Sine, right? That's the issue. Sine is the issue. Because if the joke's going to continue, it's got to get sillier. It's got to get more ridiculous. It has to be unexpected. Otherwise, it's not funny. And for sine, your brain as a viewer is already clocking through what it might be that I'm gonna claim sine looks like. What does sine look like? Well, the obvious word here is sin. Sine and sin jokes are as old as time immemorial, and they've never been funny. There's never been a funny sine sin joke. So perhaps I draw something sin related. We'll get into some suggestions about that. The only other obvious option I would say is in. I could circle in, and what? Draw a door, draw someone walking through a door, draw an in, an in, draw a digraph with an in arrow pointing towards a node. None of this is funny, and certainly none of it is any sillier than Gary the snail as the graph of a logarithm function. So with all that said, I thought the joke was perfect. I did it exactly right. I stopped it where it needed to stop. But let's take a look at some of the reception I got on Reddit about how I could have fixed this perfect meme. The first guy says, they forgot to draw a sin. Like I already said, I didn't forget. This was very well thought out. Someone said, kinda just feels like something was left out. And I guess I understand that feeling. It's just it's frustrating as the guy who thought it through very carefully. This needs to be left out. If something feels like it was left out, I mean, what should I have included? You'd have to have some idea of what I should have included, and as you'll see, none of these ideas, with maybe one exception, are very compelling. And this is just, these are just my thoughts, but I feel quite strongly. Okay, so here's exactly the sort of drivel we get. You draw boobs for sine, and then dodge around them. I'm not sure of the dodge around them part, but maybe he means boobs that look like the sine function. I'm not sure, but there's nothing unexpected here. Sine, I mean, there's 75% of the word is just the word sin, so people's minds are immediately going to start going to lewd things once they understand how the joke is being structured. So there's nothing surprising there. It's literally just carrying on the joke to be lewd and inappropriate without adding anything funny at all. This guy says sine in Spanish means without. That did occur to me. So it lacking a visualization kind of works. Yeah, that's kind of, it's like meta humor there. Sine, it's sin Spanish, which means without in Spanish. So you could do that. You could do something with si being C, like just write yes. I know that idea occurred to me, but that's not funny at all. We got one word, one function that looks like an ear. Well, that's funny. One function that looks like a rat. That's hilarious. And another function that looks like a snail. That is riotous. And then the next one looks like the word yes. I mean, no. That's unacceptable. Okay, here's the worst one. This one has 9 upvotes. I gave it this is like one of the worst comments in Reddit comment history. This guy says, "You f***ed up, man. You were close to a diamond, but you stopped at gold." Okay, so he must have a crazy idea for what could have been drawn to represent the sine function in the form of this joke. He must have picked out just the right thing from the word sine and come up with the most hilarious, funniest, most unexpected, and silly, wacky thing to draw for the graph. Let's see what he said. "You should have started a drawing of 2 people fucking and then cut it off." You could have drawn two men kissing. And then you sigh, and then cut to a shot entering a church confessional. I mean, how long do we want to draw on this ridiculous joke? I mean, I think 90% of the time, the right answer is to just stop it. It's just a... he says, come on, man, it was right there. This has to be satire. It's gotta be. That's... Oh my God. Just put a big censored box. It's just not funny. It's sign, sin, it's the three letters that are right there. It's not funny. This guy says, would have been funny if you just drew an actual sine wave. That's like one option that could have been a little funny if I circled the whole word maybe, or just did what the original Justice Shepard did in his video with the S and show the sine curve. That could have been funny. However, I think I probably prefer as it was. This is at least one suggestion, though, that isn't calamitously worse than what I already published. This guy says, peak. Yes, that guy's right. This is like the first smart comment I've seen on here. Damn, new math tech. Yeah, that's pretty... Is it new math tech? Well, I'm not going to dwell on that point, but yeah, that's kind of funny. This guy says, keep this muted. Yeah, you know, one of the things that probably an underrated part of why that original Justice Shepard short went so viral is that horrible, horrible song in the background. Like, wow, that is a horrible song. And I had to go find it and download it to my computer in order to create my silly joke. It's like, I mean, just horrible. It's like, bum diggy dum da dum. I mean, what the heck? That song's terrible. I've never had a teacher that I wouldn't prefer listening to than listening to that song. So keep this muted. Yeah, that's absolutely a great idea. And we got a Joe Biden reaction image. So yeah, you know, pretty much all of these suggestions, which is to say all but one, not very good. Not very good at all. I guess you can take this as a plea, though. I mean, I'm not making these jokes... Well, I am making them kind of just for me to laugh at. But ideally, if other people find them funny, too, that would certainly be the ideal scenario. So maybe I'm off base. You tell me. Well, would it have been more funny if I dragged this clip out, circled the word sign, the first three letters, and drew two men kissing? Would that have been just the... cherry on top for this math meme? Or maybe there's still some golden goose idea that we're missing. And if you know what that golden goose idea was, I'd really love to know, because this has been bothering me for years. I think actually drawing the sign is the closest we've gotten, but still, that does not jump out at me as obviously superior. There are times where I can't figure something out, but I know there's something out there just waiting for me to think of it. You know, there's a perfect answer. In this case, I think I got the perfect answer with the Reddit post, the original version, just without that stupid intro. But I mean, I would love to improve on it, because it is funny. At this point, the original post is like 4 years old from Justice Shepard, so maybe not as relevant of a joke anymore. Maybe I need to go. You know, maybe I gotta do a riff on some Math Sorcerer shorts. Maybe that's what I gotta do. Stay strong, my friends.